So today we're saying goodbye to a GPU that's been the first for many, nvidia's GTX 1650. The 15 series and 16 series are getting discontinued. These cards served us well for budget builds and gaming, but they're starting to show their age in today's demanding titles, like Black Ops 6, Rainbow Six Siege, Fortnite in some occasions, and many other different titles. Let's break down what make these cards outdated and what it means for those still using them. So the GTX 1650 comes with just 4 gigabytes of VRAM, which was fine for gaming a few years ago. But now, games require more, especially for textures and effects. If you're running newer titles, you might notice stuttering or that you're forced to lower settings just to keep up with the game. It's a noticeable bottleneck, especially compared to modern cards with 8 gigabytes or more of VRAM. Another limitation is the lack of newer tech, like ray tracing and DLSS. These features are game changers for making games look and run better. Ray tracing adds realistic lighting and shadows, and DLSS upscales your games for better performance. Sadly, the 1650 series just doesn't support these, so users are missing out on what newer titles offer. As these cards age, they're prone to thermal issues, especially if they've been in use for a while, let's say 3 to 5 years. That's a good range. Dust buildup and old thermal paste can lead to overheating over time, which impacts performance and lifespan of your graphics card. If you're sticking with the 1650 and you don't have an option to upgrade, it's a good idea to reapply thermal paste and clean out dust. Basic maintenance can help, but ultimately, there's only so much you can do. A lot of users report artifacts or strange graphical glitches with older cards. This can be a sign of wear and tear or even damaged VRAM. If you see unusual colors or shapes flickering in your games, it could mean the card's nearing the end of its lifespan. As you can see in these images right here, these are on my 1650 Super card. There's all different sort of variations this could go into. It could have purple, it could have green. Sometimes you're not going to be able to stop it. The GTX 1650 isn't as power efficient as modern GPUs. Newer cards are built to run faster with less power, meaning they're not only better for gaming, but also for your electricity bill. It's another reason users might consider upgrading to something more efficient. But if you do want to upgrade your graphics card, you need to make sure you have a power supply unit that supports the wattage of that card and the rest of your system. With nvidia gradually moving support away from older cards, the GTX 1650 series is now getting limited driver updates. Without new drivers, you won't get optimizations for new games or compatibility with updated software. It's like your card is frozen in time while everything else keeps moving forward. Even in budget builds, the GTX 1650 doesn't hold up like it used to. Newer options, even entry-level cards, like the RTX 3050, offer better performance, more VRAM, and support for DLSS. Though mentioning the 3050, most people, even Linus Tech Tips, Jay's 2 cents, other YouTubers that I watch that are more informative than I am, they're basically saying, in my understanding, the 3050 is the 1650, but it supports ray tracing and DLSS. I believe in most of them. I'll put a screenshot up. There's 6 gigabytes of VRAM, which are for like medium graphics, or you could buy the AMD version of that GPU. I'll put a picture of that on the screen as well, and what that's called. If you're sticking with a GTX 1650 or the 16 series, there are still ways to get the most out of it. Clean the fans, reapply the thermal paste if it's been a few years, and lower settings in newer games to avoid overloading it. Regular cleaning can keep it running a bit longer, but keep an eye out for deals if you're considering an upgrade. In the end, the GTX 1650 and the 15 series and the 16 series have all served their purpose, but it's ready for retirement now. If you're a current user, consider your options as this card becomes less capable of handling modern games. If you want better graphics and higher settings, I highly recommend you upgrade your graphics card. It's a good time to start looking into a newer GPU that can keep up with what's next in gaming and productivity.